Alright, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the latest beta, open beta update, 2.7.17.29140 open beta. We've got a ton of fixes. We're going to go through them as quick as I can. I'm not going to go every single one of them. I'm just going to be going over the ones that are notable, that most of you are going to actually need. I'm also going to put a link to Matt Wagner's video on this below. He goes through a few of these things. So let's get started. Alright, some of these fixes are for very specific scenarios. I'm going to go through as much as I can, but some of these won't even apply to you guys. So fixed possible crash in avionics and weapons. There's a good example. I've never experienced an avionics crash in or weapons, so I'm not really sure what that means or what that's referring to. I'm sure there was a specific scenario where that occurred. Added FLCS bit. Work in progress to be further adjusted. Alright, let's take a look. Alright, enabling the bit. Alright, so I'll keep my comments till the end. Alright, so first thing, I don't know what that was. that was not a digital F16 digital FLCS bit. I've never seen anything like that. So speed brakes never open for a digital bit. I don't even think I ever saw the speed brakes open for an analog bit. The pilot will, before he starts the bit, he'll move all the controls and he'll open the speed brakes and then he'll close them. And that's just to work out any bubbles in the system, warm up the controls before he runs the bit. Because if you don't do that, sometimes the bit will fail, you get a fault. So maybe they saw a video where they saw the speed brakes open up, maybe they saw the pilot moving the controls up and down and all that, but for the FLCS bit, it looks a little bit more digital, a little bit more computer. You can tell a human isn't doing it because it's very quick. I can show you a video of it here. So let's check the bit. So we just did the bit check. Go down here and we'll hit FCR and we'll go to the FLCS, flight control system, and bit pass. Alright, next, added SIM indication on HUD. Okay, so when you go to master arm on, up on your HUD, you're going to see ARM. And when you go to off, you're not going to have anything right there. And when you go to simulate, you'll see SIM on the HUD, and I believe that's what they're referring to. Added DTE static page. Alright, so in the real F16, we use a data cartridge that loads information, mission data into the computer. This is something that you're probably never going to use in DCS, but there's the DTE page. I think of the F18, I think it's the DTC or something like that, I'm not sure. Yeah. There it is. Never going to be used. I don't see any time we'll ever use it. Yeah, but I know what they're doing. They're trying to do it for, completion. Make sure that they can say that they've completed the system. I mean, we still got quite a bit. If you go to a bunch of stuff in the DED that is still under development. So CMDS, all that stuff. So it's still working, but I know that they're trying to get it all completed, even if it's stuff that we'll never use. I think there are a few systems that they probably won't be able to add because there just is nothing declassified that they can get to do it. But anyway, moving on. Added ECM centerline adapter for the ALQ131. Alright, so let's go to the F8, F1 rearm. Here we go. So we should be able to add, there it is, 131. Look at that. Alright. Alright, there is the ALQ131 in all its glory. Very nice. Alright, let's taxi out and test the rest of this stuff. Now, I also saw there was a fix for drag on stores during takeoff being too much. I've not noticed that, so I'm not really sure where that came from, but they have reduced the drag apparently on stores during takeoff. To be honest, I'm taking off right now. I'm not really feeling, I mean, I'm pretty heavy. I got a lot of stuff on, but I'm not really feeling much difference than what I'm used to for takeoff. Alright, added TGP Attitude Advisory Function, AAF. So to do that, you set it by hitting number 2 on your ICP. That'll open the ALO DED page. Set your MSL floor to something really high. Wags set his to 25,000. I think that's about, I guess, pretty safe to put it to 25,000. Basically, you want the floor to be anywhere below that. You want to know if you're pointed directly at the ground or you're at like a, a 90-degree bank. Like you need to pay attention, you know. So when your head's down, you're looking at your targeting pod. You're trying to find a target. Let's just grab one of these towers here, and I'm working on this and. I'm not paying attention, I'm trying to find something, and I'll get this red flashing. Look up, oh, pointed at the ground, I can recover. Same if you're looking at your HSD, it's very helpful. I can't tell you how many times I've been so target fixated down here that I'm not paying attention to my flying, and I'm like pointed directly at the ground, so really nice to have that. Added gun gas purge door animation. Let's try it out. So air to ground mode, SMS page, air to ground to gun, master arm on, and let's check it out. Gun purge door is right here, and it should open when I pull the trigger. Alright. Wax said that was implemented. I'm guessing that's not in this update. We'll get it next. Well, no, it's listed in this update, so I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments below if you guys do have that door opening when you fire the gun. I am not. Added gun barrels rotation. Let's check it out. Yep, looking good. AOA bracket and VV adjustment. So this bracket, this staple right here, would go up and down when you're taxiing. Now, in real life, that doesn't happen too often. It will. I know it can happen because the sensors for the AOA sensors are on either side of the nose cone. These little spikes, and they are free floating. They free rotate. I used to spin them up and down, but they lock at the top, lock at the bottom. You can't go 360 degrees. You can't spin them all the way around. They go up and down through the full range of AOA, but they are free floating, so there's no friction. You just can spin them. So if the wind pushes it a certain way, I'm sure the bracket could go up or down when you're taxiing if the wind hits it right, like a breeze or something, like a strong breeze. I don't know, I think it would have to be pretty strong for that to happen, but typically it doesn't happen, it doesn't move, so they fixed that. TGP not working after cursor 0, alright, so I didn't have any problems with that, but let's check it out for those of you who have had that problem. Alright, so here we are. We're going to hit cursor 0, and I can still use the targeting pod and point. Perfect. Alright, moving along. Second detent on trigger does not fire the laser. So let's throw the laser on. The second detent, if you go to your keybinds, we are looking for trigger. first detent and second detent. Second detent should fire the laser. Alright, so we got the laser armed, and you can see the L at the bottom. Point track, I'm going to fire the laser, here we go. That's the second detent. Go to the first detent, it stops. Second detent, it starts firing again. First detent stops. Second detent firing. And let go of the trigger altogether, and it stops. Good deal. Laser off. Moving along. Incorrect DTOS solution queue. That was for bombing, TOS bombing. So if you go to the Mark 82s, they also added the ability to use the missile step switch, which is your nose wheel steering button, to change your bombing mode. So CCIP, CCRP, DTOS. So inside DTOS, they were getting an incorrect solution queue. Now you will get a correct solution queue. So we can just, there we go. And, alright, and we pull. Holding the release button. TOS. There it goes. Alright, I'm not sure what they mean by incorrect solution. Maybe the bombs were falling way off. There, I'm getting that warning again. Man, this is really nice. If your head's down, boy, this is really, really helpful. I like that a lot. Alright, altitude hold. Moving along. Max TOS anticipation queue errors. They fixed that. I never had any errors, so I'm not sure what that is referring to. If you know, let us know in the comments below. Fixed incomplete laser DED page. So to check that, and go to list and a number 0 for miscellaneous, and then number 5 for laser, and we have the laser start time now. Wags has a good explanation of how that works in his latest video on this update, and I'll put the link in the description of this one. TMS forward hold not working for Mavericks. I actually never had any problems using TMS forward hold on the Mavericks. Basically, you could hold TMS forward and have a lock and be able to ripple your Mavericks, because as soon as you fired it would deselect and you could hold it and keep it locking onto stuff. But I prefer the pre mode and using the targeting pod to pass that information over to the Mavericks, as long as you have it bore sighted, and you just use your targeting pod to select, fire, select, fire, select, fire. It's a lot easier that way. Depressible reticle switch not affecting HUD. Okay, so select your Mark 82s, select the mode, and then select manual. Once you have manual selected, you can come down here and you can turn on your Depress Reticle switch. It's on off by default. Put it on pry, and there you go. If you go to standby, it clears the HUD, and all you have is this. Alright, we're going to turn that back off and go back to CCIP. RWR priority mode with search reverts to open mode. So check that, this mode button right here next to the RWR scope. Hit that mode button, you can go to priority. Priority only shows the top 5 threats, and open mode shows the top 16, I believe. What was happening, I guess, is when you were in search priority, it would just revert right back to open, I'm assuming. I'm not really sure what they mean by that, but you can turn on search down here, threat warning auxiliary, turn on search, and move it to priority, and it stays in priority, even though search is still on. Now, I have found that, and I don't know if this is correct in the real bird, I was never an F-16 pilot, so I'm not really sure, but in priority mode, we'll turn search off, and it's still in priority. We turn search on, and it automatically goes to open. So I don't know if that's correct or not, but if search is already on, go to priority, and it stays there. The fix says RWR priority mode with search reverts to open. So I'm assuming that means if search was on and you put it into priority, it would automatically go to open. Couldn't keep it in priority, and now you can. So I'm assuming. If I am incorrect on that, leave a comment below. IFF line of sight does not interrogate until release of TMS up long. TMS left is what I've always done. TMS left long, he goes to line of sight. Alright, so if we wanted to interrogate one of these targets, we do TMS left, and that is a scan across the entire radar scope. A TMS left long, and it goes to line of sight. That's awesome. So now I don't have to wait, so I can just press it as soon as it says LOS, then I can let go of the target management switch. I'm not sure why they say TMS up. It's not TMS up, it's TMS left. SMS page doesn't show gun if mode changed to another page. I'm not sure. If you know what that means, what they were trying to address there, comment below. I'm not really sure what that means. AIM-9 sound during startup and nav mode if ACM switch toggled before startup. Again, very specific scenario. Someone hit the dogfight switch when they were starting up and heard the sound when they shouldn't have. Yeah, I've never done that, so I never heard it, so I didn't know that was an issue. Odd canopy texture with wing vapor. This is something I know that I've seen many times before. So if we get the wing vapor going. Awesome. So you used to be able to see the canopy right now. It would like come through the vapor. Now it's not there. There it is. Disappears behind the vapor. Very nice. That has been there. That has been there since launch 2019, October 2019. That has been there, and it always bothered me. So that is really nice that they fixed that. I also noticed at launch that we had the same problem in clouds. See if it only affects the vapor or does it affect it, the texture in the clouds as well. Oh, so much better. Yeah, it used to be, you could see the canopy much clearer than the rest of the Jett, but it's with the Jett now. So much better. Oh, and that's been there since launch. Alright, spotlight search mode. So we're in air-to-air mode, and what we can do now is, I'll pick on this dude over here, is we can put the cursor where we think he's going to be and turn on spotlight mode. So instead of having to wait for the full 4-bar scan, press and hold TMS up and wait until he gets inside where he should be, and then let go, and now he's locked. Boom. So not a very good example. The best example would be to do this against an enemy fighter that is using a jamming pod. When they're jamming, you can see over here on the HSD that they're within your radar cone range, but over here they're like at the very, very top, and you see these yellow chevrons underneath them, meaning telling you that they're jamming, and they should be about here, but they're like up here. It's because they're jamming. You can't get ranging data on them. So use spotlight mode, and that'll get you a better shot at getting a lock on them a little faster. So spotlight. Radar, air-to-ground radar, cursor 0 added if cursor is moved. Alright, so check that. Let's go to air-to-ground. Come down here, move the cursor. There we go. And now we have cursor 0. We can hit cursor 0, it goes back. Cursor 0 is gone. Move the cursor, and cursor 0 is back. Alright. Specific MACH number for endurance does not display in HUD. Alright, so to check that, we go to the cruise page. Let's go to endurance and hit select. And we want to be at 0.48, so we can see the caret is above our center line here, so we're going to speed up, and we can see right here we're not at 0.48, we're at 0.42, so we need to speed up till we get to about 0.48. So once the caret gets to the center line right here, the optimal line or whatever you want to call it, it should be at 0.48. There it is. Alright, so it is displaying correctly. INV option in MFD, inventory option. Now, I've never had a problem with that. If I hit inventory, I've always been able to get here, so I'm not sure what they mean by that. If people just didn't know it was there, or if it wasn't there, if I'm crazy, let me know in the comments. CBU 97 and CCIP isn't dropping Q within parameters. I was hearing about this, but I didn't really see it, so I'm not really sure. There must have been some specific scenarios where that occurred, I never experienced it. GBU 12 fails to release in CCRP if released after the GBU 38. Usually I run GBU 12s or GBU 38s. I usually don't run both at the same time, so I never experienced that, but that is fixed. Bombing mode, HOTAS selection, remove redundant modes. So if we go into the bombing modes and we use the missile step switch or your steering switch, we switch through the modes: DTOS, CCIP, CCRP, DTOS, CCIP, CCRP, DTOS. Alright, but there are many more modes. There's also LAD and manual mode. So they took those out. I'm assuming that's what that means. GBU 12, incorrect MLE. I am not sure what that means, MLE. I know with the AIM-120s, that's the missile launch envelope. I'm assuming it's the same concept for the bomb. I'm not sure what MLE is. I'm assuming that's what they mean. Steerpoint data not updated until cycling steer points. Oh my goodness. So let me get a coordinate here. Here we go. So north 3658 east 035 16 799 56 feet. All right, so let's try that out. So we'll go to steer point 1, which is right beneath me. All right, steer point and north 3658923 east 035 16799 and 56 feet, and it automatically updated as I was entering it. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, that's been such a pain. I've had to it's not a pain, but you gotta cycle and cycle up to steer point 2, cycle back to 1, and then it'll update on the HSD. Okay, TMS right greater than 1 second for radar CRM mode. So go to air mode and TMS right, and we hold it for more than 1 second, and it automatically switches to TWS. Hold right for more than 1 second, automatically switches to RWS. Before, what was happening is we would TMS right and we would hold it and it would update, and after like a half a second or something they changed it, so now it's a full second and it updates even though you're holding it, it updates while you're holding it, so you can know that you're good to go and you can let go. HMCS sensor not seen in external view. Yeah, it's there. That's the little box on the side of the canopy right there. This thing right here. Gaps on fuselage near gear doors. Not seeing any gaps. I never noticed that, but it looks good to me. So if it was there, it's gone now. Gaps in canopy when open. Never noticed that either. Threat ring turns red. Number and ring should also turn red. So if you remember from my last video, when I went inside a threat ring, the ring turned red. Now the number, the SA10, SA11, it was golden before. Now it'll turn red as well. Added alt release button for the missiles. This is the alt release button right here. Another button that we will probably never have to use. It is so that if your weapon release button on your stick malfunctions, the pilot can come up here and press and hold this and launch your missiles. Alright, we'll press it again to even out my CG. And there we go. So that's what that's for. Tail light on left and right only shows bloom on 1. What that is talking about is your tail lights, your tail spotlights. One of them bloomed and one of them didn't, I guess, at night. I would have to do that at night, so, not really too concerned about that. Alright, selective jettison not working with ground jet enabled. So, we're going to flip this ground jet enable switch right over here. And we go to the SMS page, stores, and master arm on. Here we go. Alright, ground jettison works. Alright, selective jettison works with safe. So I'm gonna put this to safe, and let's select our centerline fuel tank. And nothing, we cannot jettison the tanks unless we are in master arm. So I made a video a while back on this, and wanted to make sure that I told everyone that you could do it without master arm on. In real life, you do need master arm set to master arm. So they fixed that. So now you do need to have your master arm switched to master arm, and then you can selective jettison. So master arm, centerline fuel tank, and now I can drop my tanks. Wing pylons not jettisoning with wing external fuel tanks. Alright, so we're going to drop one because we have one more thing to try. So I'm going to drop the right wing tank. Alright, and what we're going to see is it's going to drop the tank and the pylon instead of just the tank. There it goes. So the pylon's gone with the tank. Alright, moving along. Emergency jettison does not function with only the EPU running. Alright, ready for this? Here we go. Let's level out the jet, and we're gonna kill the engine. And engine is dropping.
Bingo. Bingo.
Perfect. Alright, we're gonna throw the EPU on. Should already be on automatically. Alright, so here we go. We're gonna try the emergency jettison. Yep, emergency jettison works with the EPU on and nothing else. Good deal. Let's see if we can start this thing up again. Nose down, see if we can get some air through that motor. Set this back to norm.
Bingo. Bingo.
All right.
Bingo. Bingo.
And we're running again. But because we powered down and everything got all messed up, our INS is off and everything, but we are alive, and that's what matters. Now, I did not follow the proper procedure there. I know there is a correct procedure for restarting the jet. I just don't have that document in front of me. Alright, cool. So I hope this explains a few things on that fixed issues list, and a couple of things that were added. I'm excited. We're getting more and more every couple of weeks for this jet. Eventually we're going to have everything we need, and it's going to be great. Alright, so we'll do this again in 2 weeks.